if you are running ads as an outdoor living contractor or have tried it, then you already know the leads that you get aren't always what you actually hoped for. Maybe you call within an hour and they don't pick up, and so you follow up for 3 days but you get no response, or they do pick up the phone, they seem interested, and perhaps they even book a consultation, but then after you drive out there, they just start comparing you to other contractors and ask if you can match a quote that's $15,000 lower than you would actually charge for their project. Either way, you're spending time, money, and energy on people who aren't actually ready to commit to you specifically. And in this video, I'm going to explain why that is, why that happens when you run ads, and how to solve it using a 5-minute trust video so that you can attract higher quality leads and close more high-end jobs through your advertising. See, the reason that most contractors get these uncommitted leads from their ads is pretty simple, right? So the way that most contractors will run ads is that they'll run, a 50 to maybe 100 word ad, or like a 20-second script / video that shows a nice outdoor kitchen or something similar, maybe a backyard, and the ad says, hey, get a free quote. And all the homeowner has to do to inquire is just tap one button and fill out a short form, or just like send you a message. Very easy. Takes them literally 20 seconds, if even that, and it costs them nothing. But here's the thing, that tells you nothing about how serious they actually are, even if they put into the form that they have a certain budget or whatever. In fact, most of them will just click such ads out of impulse. And the problem is that a $75,000 outdoor living space isn't something that you just decide to build just out of impulse in a couple of seconds, right? And that's why those types of leads, or most of the leads who see that ad and inquire, will never convert, because they didn't have any real intent on moving forward with a project to begin with. They were simply just curious. They saw a short ad, it looked nice, and they thought, oh, I wonder what this costs or whatever. And they just fill out the form, and they just wanted to learn more, right? But they don't actually have any intent. And so in order to filter out those leads before they even inquire, and instead generate the high quality leads, the ones who are actually serious and have high intent, you basically need to force people to make small commitments before they ever get to inquire. And only serious homeowners will actually do that, because if you think about it this way, if something is actually important to you, you will put effort into it. If something isn't important to you, you won't put effort into it. In other words, we can filter out bad leads and primarily get the good leads by forcing them to make small commitments, by forcing them to actually put in some effort, right? That will tell us how high their intent actually is, right? If, for example, let's say you would run a form, right? And maybe in that form, you ask people, what type of project are you thinking about? Like, tell us a little bit about what you have in mind. If someone writes like 3 words, or like a very short sentence, they're like, yeah, an outdoor kitchen, or something like that, and you compare that to the lead who writes 3-4 paragraphs, and they talk about the details of how they want it, maybe that's what they've been thinking about, etc. That lead compared to the other one will be way higher quality. And why is that? Well, they're actually putting in effort, right? They're showing that this is important to them. Okay? And so imagine this. Instead of having, like super short ads that drive people directly to a lead form on Facebook, you have longer ads that drives people to a landing page. In other words, outside of Facebook. And so they actually have to read more text and click through to another page. a small commitment that filters out a significant chunk of low intent people. And I already know what you're thinking, but should ads actually be long? What if I lose attention? I thought ads were supposed to be, short and sweet and, get people to just click, right? Here's the thing. People don't read long or short ads. They read what interests them. So a sales message can never be too long, ever. It should be as long as it needs to be for you to get the right people to take your desired action, to make them do what you want them to do. And if you think about it, someone who's been, actually thinking about redoing their backyard for 2 years and are seriously looking to spend $50, $75, or even $150,000, they want to know everything about the value that you can actually provide for them. And so they will consume your ad as long as they feel like it's relevant for them, right? And those are the people that we want to attract, right? On the other hand, people who aren't serious, right? They disappear as soon as there's, a slight bit of friction. And so if those people bounce, good, right? You just saved yourself 3 follow-up calls and a wasted consultation. Now back to the commitments here. So after they read the ad and they clicked on it, they'll get to this landing page outside of Facebook. And instead of hitting them with like a form immediately, you have a 5 to 7 video waiting for them. In other words, this is the trust video. And this is where everything changes, because in those 5 to 7 minutes, you have the opportunity to do something that a short 50-word ad could never do, which is build genuine trust. You can show your best work, you can explain your process and handle every fear and objection that a homeowner has before spending, $75,000 on their backyard. So by the time they finish watching and they fill out the form, they don't feel like they're reaching out to a stranger, right? They feel like they actually know you. And when they can see you speaking, when they can see you actually showing your work and talking about your story, and they see an actual face with a voice, you also build this parasocial relationship where they feel like they actually know you. Now, an important thing to know though, because you might say that, well, if they are really serious, they can just, research my website or look at my reviews on their own. And sure, a lot of them will, for example, go to like Google or, search you up a little bit. But the thing is that they won't put in as much effort into researching you as you might think. They'll maybe go through your website a little bit and they'll look at your work a little bit, perhaps look at your reviews, but they won't like stick around and check for like 10 minutes. They won't go through like your story and all your highest quality work and all the best case studies and everything like that before they decide if you're the right person for them or not. And also the research that they're doing lacks a lot of context. And so they may not have, the context of the awards that you've won or certain reviews or certain transformations that has a story behind them. But if you can tell that story, then it becomes way more compelling. And we can give them all of that context, all of that credibility and authority in this 5 to 7 minute video where we actually control the flow, so to speak. If they're on your website, they're, free roaming. And usually they don't even know where to look. They just click around on some buttons, they get distracted by something, and they go out, or they don't know exactly what to look for. But if we have the video, then we can be in control of all of that. And we can actually tell the story behind the projects that we've done, certain reviews and stuff, context that they wouldn't get in your website. And that's why having the video is also important. But back to the main purpose of the video. At this point, when they've watched it, they've made dozens of commitments already to show that they're actually serious about making a change to their backyard or outdoor living space. They've read your ad, they've clicked through, they watched the video, and then after the video, you know, have the form where you can get more of their contact information and more information about what they're looking to do, right? And so they'll have way higher intent than just your average homeowner or someone scrolling on social media, right? When it comes to the actual video and what you actually say in it, here are 5 things that it needs to cover, okay, so that you can implement this into your own business. So the first one is actually a hook, right? And so you have about, you know, 3 to 5 seconds to make someone feel like this video is specifically for them and is relevant to them and worth watching. If you lose them here, then, you know, you just lose them completely. And beyond the hook, just digging in a little bit into, for example, their problem or who exactly this video is for will also help with the consumption. And the second thing that you need is the credibility, right? Who you are, like how long you've been doing this, and why they should trust you with, you know, a $75,000 project. This is where, you know, you can introduce yourself, actually talk about your story and the projects that you've done, etc. Actually, that is mainly point 3 here, which is, you know, actually showing your work. And I'm not talking about a slideshow of finished projects, but specific transformations, like the backyard that looked like a concrete slab and is now where the family spends every weekend, right? An actual transformation with a story that your ideal client can see themselves in. And the fourth one here is really just handling like their fears and their objections, right? Like timeline, budget overruns, you know, the finished result not matching what they had in mind. You can address these before they even have to ask, right? And this is the type of stuff usually that you wouldn't be able to really like cover, for example, on your website, right? Because again, you're not actually controlling their attention. They're free roaming everywhere. But if you have the video, then you control the conversation, you control the flow, and you can better handle these things that really hold people back from, for example, taking action, right? And the fifth thing that you need is a call to action, right? A clear and very specific next step that feels like a natural continuation of the conversation that they just had with you. And I mean the conversation that you had with them in the video, right? So this is where you would ask people to, for example, fill out the form, and you would mention what information they'll have to, you know, provide and what will happen next. And so the expectations are clear, they know what to do, and there's zero confusion, right? And if you create a trust video that covers all of these points, you'll start generating more and higher quality leads, especially if you can consistently drive traffic to it. And if you just want me to script and produce your trust video for you and also drive traffic to it so that you can consistently generate $75,000 plus budget leads without you having to lift a finger, then you can book a call with me by clicking the link below this video. Hope this was useful. But if you're not ready for that yet, then that's fine too. Goodbye.